got it! Kyoko...
What it would have taken...
No. I see! The reason the killer imitated 2 of the murders from the movie was so he'd mix up the kill...
Then... Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
A valid line of reason.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that...
Do you... If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the...
I'm not...
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. What a
Oh, I see. You want me...
An even bigger jerk?
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself. That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed.
How
Man, who's being a...
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet. How can a low-class creature with no...
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion. You're one...
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any footprints at the crime scene?
Maybe her feet were on the floor, but she was like sitting or something. So instead, there'd be a mark on her ass!
Weak, weak, I say! It doesn't even pierce my heart!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence!
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something? Were there even any footprints at the...
Maybe her feet were, but she was like sitting, so instead there'd be...
Weak, weak. It doesn't even pierce my heart!
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet...
I am telling you to Did you see her walk?
If her feet were on the... Was there any sign she stepped on something?
I agree with that! Just as Sonia said, that something was blood. There were faint bloodstains on the soles of it.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? Then it's Hiyoko's!
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice up.
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko... Which means Ibuki was still alive...
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye!
Does that mean you have a...
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? What? Are you You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you... However, the time... You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet. Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the There was no... You can't step on blood that was never... Just about 1 minute. You see a nice nightmare? You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belongs... Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Allow me to cut through those words! That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor...
Don't say such...
Yes. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned... Ibuki must have already stepped in it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the... Even if they're able to hide Hiyoko...
Plus, Ibuki... Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually... Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact. So the killer probably...
Maybe the heater was running.
That's right! I didn't know the time of...
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file, just to keep concrete evidence.
Yep. Since we have all this evidence, then it's decided. Hiyoko...
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then, but
Can't you just shut up and...
Now then, let us...
Wait a sec. There's...
Again? Didn't something like this happen?
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
The same as always. You have to think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blacken to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can... Why me?
Nagito? What?
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but for example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko.
That's totally impossible!
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means...
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of them. After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body soon after, the killer had to be...
Then she was alive! When she waited...
She hanged herself!
And if she was going... Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
There's no doubt that someone killed those two.
What the heck?
There's still... If Ibuki didn't commit suicide... According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the step ladder. Then does that mean...
Forrest?
I don't know any...
Don't say it all.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious. So, maybe... So, then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it... But just to be sure...
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know?
Then, the video Hajime...
what time did
I
Hajime...
saw it at the hospital, right before... And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement. So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma. And since we established that Hyoko, that means the time that the murders occurred was before...
Then, we just have to... Now then, I shall issue my...
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi. What about you guys? I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi!
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
We can exclude the sick.
And what about the...
Right before them, I was totally sleeping.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel, what about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
Crap! We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi!
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed!
We can exclude the sick people like me and Akane, right?
And what about the...
Right before the... I was totally sleeping.
I think everyone...
So everyone is... What about you guys? I was where I was...
That's not.
Aside from those...
If nobody has an alibi, then...
No, that's wrong! Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikan and I both have alibis.
You two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikan and I were actually together for a while.
We even woke up together that morning. Too much.
Yeah, it's not like that. She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
And we went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
So it's inevitable.